We had an excellent town hall. Representative Cody and Representative Fitzgibbon and I met with about 125 constituents last Saturday in West Seattle. And what we heard from a lot of folks is they're concerned about our budget. Right now it's a projected $5 billion revenue shortfall on a $30 billion budget. We're going to get an update today. And we told them we did not expect that to be positive. We're expecting another negative forecast. And they had a lot of input about community colleges and their concern for them, as well as other higher ed issues, K through 12, and our most vulnerable citizens. So it was a good time to touch bases with our citizens. It was a very productive couple hours. Well, we spend a lot of time in committees, and last week we were actually on the floor. Most of the week as cutoff occurred. And there were a couple of things that came to the floor during cutoff. One is a bill, 5566, regarding workers' compensation. And this was a bill that was negotiated after Association Washington Business really pushed the issue. And regretfully, I could not support the bill. The difficulty is workers' comp in the state is 100 years old. It was designed to protect our workers, our injured workers. And although I believe there's some revisions right now that need to be made to make sure our pensions that we give to injured workers can stay ahead of our cash flow, this sets up a two-tiered system. It sets up a system where if you're wealthy and you're injured, you can probably take time and get a pension from the state and protect yourself. If you are poor, say you're a construction worker and your wife just had a new baby, they bought a new home, everything is rosy, but then he goes to work and falls off a ladder. Under the new system, he could settle within 12 weeks for voluntary settlement. He's got a family that's distressed, he's in pain, he may not be medically stable, and yet he's going to take a payout versus a pension and doesn't have the ability to hire an attorney. This two-tiered system really is not respectful of the poor workers. Initiative 937, of course, was passed in order for our state to move forward with renewable resources. That was a citizens' initiative, and it passed 52% to 48% in the state. A bill came forward which would recognize biomass as a renewable resource, and this actually involves 5 different pulp and paper mills and 1 energy plant that are already burning biomass. So we don't get new energy, we just recognize old energy. That wasn't the spirit of the initiative. I think it's a step backwards, and I voted no on the floor, and actually it helped organize a debate against it. In 2009, we passed the Payday Lending Reform Act, and it was a bill that I sponsored and worked with actually Representative Kirby and Representative Kelly on. And it was a brand new idea in the entire nation where we have a cap on the number of loans that folks can get from payday lenders, and they can move into an installment loan at no additional cost so they can pay off their debt over time. We've seen real positive reports on this new legislation. The Republicans at the last minute tried to pull forward some legislation to the floor, which would have taken the cap off and potentially put our families again into a spiral of debt. Unfortunately, the Democrats on the floor voted to block it, and I'm very proud of that action. TransAlta is a large coal plant in Centralia, and the environmental community had asked that it be shut down by 2015. TransAlta is responsible for over 10% of our emissions in the state. Those include mercury and carbon dioxide. Basically, we had a bill in Environment, Water, and Energy which brought TransAlta, the environmental community, and the community of Centralia, where there are 300 jobs at stake, to the table. A deal was brokered, and I have to give a lot of credit to my chair from Environment, Water, and Energy, Senator Rockefeller, and that bill was passed on the Senate floor within hours after the agreement was reached. It's now in the House, and I think it is a really good compromise.